Berserk Rider. Prologue. The wind howled like a savage dog, ready to rip into its victim without mercy. The waters of the archipelago rolled and clashed with anything and everything in its path. "Hurry up with those sails!" a voice cries out from within the raging storm. A ship was hardly keeping afloat on top of the unsteady waves, knocking half the men off balance. The men pull at the open sails, trying to close them before any more damage is done. "Stoic?" a woman's voice calls out to the ship's captain. She was trying to walk across to safety in the captain's quarters. In her arms was a basket that protected a wee babe from the harsh weather. Suddenly, a beam barricade fell from its once secure place on the ship and hit the woman, knocking the basket out of her hands in the process. The basket falls into the water, but comes back up, floating away from the ship. "Hiccup!" the woman cries out as she watches her child disappear past the crashing waves. After the storm. The beach was filled with many washed-up items and bodies from neighboring islands. Those who lived on the island searched the washed-up treasures with delight. One of them, a woman with a baby no older than a few months, rested against her back in a strap as her mother searched for anything useful. As she searched, her eyes caught sight of a well-woven basket that seemed not to have been damaged by the storm. Approaching it, she hears a small, muffled cry from within it. Hurriedly, she lifted the lid to find a baby crying from within it. He had a small patch of brown hair and was wrapped in furs. "Oh, you poor dear," the mother cooed as she picked him up in her arms. "Shh, I'm here, shh." Upon hearing her calm, gentle voice, the baby stops and opens his eyes, revealing beautiful forest green orbs. He reached out for her. She let him take hold of her finger, letting him nibble at it. At that moment, she knew she wanted him as her new son. In a large house that stood among the rest, there was a large, meaty man looking through a few documents that he failed to look at. With him was his 5-year-old son, who was sharpening his daggers out of boredom. "Oswald, dear, might I have a word about something?" a voice calls in. "Aye, Helka." Her husband looks up to see her holding a baby about his daughter's age in his wife's arms. "Helka?" Helka explains how she found the small babe. Her husband could see the love in her eyes for the child, as if he were her own. He looked down at this child. As he did, the child looked at him before smiling and reaching up for Oswald's long beard. Oswald bellowed in laughter at the child's actions. "Son, come here." The young boy lifts his head and, as he approaches his parents, he sees the child and frowns. The babe looks down at the boy, reaches out, tugs at his hair, and smiles. The young boy couldn't help but smirk, thinking of all the fun things he and the child could do once he was old enough to wield an axe. The parents noticed this and smiled, hoping the two would have a brotherly bond. "Welcome to the family, Hymir."